This is the new Pimax Crystal Light, and Pimax sent me this headset to review its fit, performance and whether I would recommend it. And as the name suggests, the Pimax Crystal Light is lighter than the Pimax Crystal, which I reviewed 9 months ago. And to dive straight into it, the Pimax Crystal was about 1.4 kilograms without the cable, while the Pimax Crystal Light, including the cable, is about 1.35 kilograms, and surely without the cable it is probably even lighter. But man, it feels good, and I have done a very good job with the weight balance. I mean, the Pimax Crystal has been my go-to headset for several months now, the heavier one, and wearing the Pimax Crystal Light was a big relief as I immediately noticed the weight difference. In games such as Euro Truck Simulator 2, I sometimes didn't even notice the headset and I could play for ages if I wanted to. Now, the biggest advantage of the Pimax Crystal Light is that it doesn't require a battery in the back to power the headset, which reduces both annoyances and weight, and I think this is the biggest win of them all. When playing with the Pimax Crystal, I always hoped that Pimax would release a similar headset without the battery, and well, here we are, the Pimax Crystal Light has arrived. Instead, in the back, there is no battery, it just features a soft cushion, a better cushion than the original Pimax Crystal, and a button to adjust the head strap. Now, another significant difference is that the cable is now attached to the headset itself, eliminating the need for that DP extension cord to plug into the headset. Now, some might find this annoying for storage, but I am slightly concerned about having to return the entire headset if the cable breaks. But hey, the cable is very sturdy here. I am not worried at all that the cable is breaking, and on the top of the headset in the back, there is also a small feature to guide the cable down the back rather than it hanging on the sides. Now, on the other side, you just put the DisplayPort cable and a USB cable into your computer, and in the middle there is a power cord that you connect to a power source, and that's it. After plugging everything in and installing the Pimax software fresh on my computer, I was ready to go within minutes. It really literally took me only 10 minutes. Now, my headset came without controllers, not because of a fault with Pimax, but because you can order this headset without controllers, making it a bit cheaper. The headset with local dimming but no controllers, the one that I have here, is priced at $799. And for a PC VR headset of this quality, I think this is a very decent price if you are really into VR. With controllers, it's $899. Now, personally, I never use controllers. If you mainly play games like DCS or iRacing, you don't need controllers at all. However, for sims like VTOL VR, where controllers are necessary to operate the plane, or in games like Aerofly FS4, well, you will need them. But if you only need the headset for something that you have a steering wheel for, or you only play with the HOTAS, no controllers are needed. The cheapest option you can go for is without local dimming, which makes everything slightly darker, but it comes with controllers. I think it's a very good entry-level headset, and it will cost you $699. Now, the Pimax Crystal Light offers the same insane clarity as the Pimax Crystal, with a 2880 by 2880 resolution per eye, which makes the game look really sharp compared to anything that you can play in the Quest 3. Now, to save weight, they also removed the automatic IPD adjuster that was in the Pimax Crystal. Instead, you can manually set your IPD on the side of the headset, which is more than fine, and you can be very accurate with that. Now, do note that to make this headset lighter, it does not have eye tracking. I repeat, it does not have eye tracking. Now, here it comes. When I installed the Pimax Crystal software and plugged in the Pimax Light headset, the resolution by default was set to medium. This is still very sharp and perfect, but you can also go for the native resolution. You can set it to high. But like I said, the Pimax Crystal Light does not have eye tracking. And since the Pimax Crystal Light lacks eye tracking, it needs to render the whole image at that very high native resolution, which can be very demanding even for my 4090 over here. Despite this though, the headset supports fixed foveated rendering, making the image sharp in the center and somewhat blurry on the edges to improve performance. So you kind of have to move your head around in order to see sharp wherever you want it to be sharp. Now, regarding the Hertz mode, the default is 90 Hz, but you can adjust it to 72 Hz. If your frame rates hover between 75 and 80 FPS in game, I highly recommend setting it to 72 Hz for a stable and smooth experience. You can, by the way, also crank it up to 120 Hz if you want. Now, besides this, there are plenty of other settings you can tweak in the software, including brightness, smart smoothing, lock to Hall frame rate, color options, local dimming if available, and the pass-through options. Because yes, Pimax now offers a pass-through mode in black and white, which is fine, more than good enough, more than enough, which is handy for quickly adjusting your HOTAS setup or position, for example. Now, straight out of the box, I did some testing without changing any of the Pimax settings to get the following results here. I will conduct a more detailed benchmark in another video, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see that. And for the first test, I booted up Euro Truck Simulator 2 with the Pimax settings being at 90 Hz, medium resolution, and fixed foveated rendering enabled, and it's incredibly sharp. I'm happy hitting 90 FPS with my 4090 setup. You can see the full specs, system specs in the description below, but this really encouraged me again to play a little bit more Euro Truck Simulator 2. The sharpness, the wide FOV with this headset, being able to hit 90 FPS in the rain here, and I have a mod installed with detailed rain droplets. Yeah, this really screams for more. Happy with these results. Up next, we are in DCS in the F5 Flaming Cliffs module. Here on the Caucasus map, we are taking off, and as you can see, a nice 90 FPS. It's not very stable at 90 FPS. I still have to tweak around a little bit, but still having this wide FOV, having the image being so sharp everywhere, I'm kind of amazed that I still hit 90 FPS here. Now, there's something broken with DCS while the fixed foveated rendering is not really working that well, so we will have to wait for a next patch to really see the results here when using this foveated rendering options, but that we will see in a next video. And as a last test here, we are flying in the F-18 over the Persian Gulf, and we are going low. Still super happy with the results here. I'm quite amazed that we are still being able to hit that 80, 90 FPS. To be very honest, here I would adjust the Hertz to 72 Hertz mode, as it will be easier for my computer to hit that stable 72 Hertz or FPS instead of 90 FPS. I'm going low here. Let me see if I can fly under any of these bridges here. But again, we're flying super low here. Everything is on high, by the way, in game. Yeah, this is amazing. I don't think I can make this, but no. Back in Euro Truck Simulator 2, but this time on a 3080 Ti and with a somewhat older CPU, the i9-9900K. And again, in Euro Truck Simulator 2 with the default settings, 90 Hz mode, the medium resolution and fixed foveated rendering enabled. As you can see here, while I am recording on the same computer, it still runs really, really well and really, really smooth. I was surprised by this, really. Normally, if I also record on the same computer as I play, then, you know, it all goes to crumbles. But again, this worked really well out of the box, I have to say. Now, again, I booted up DCS. Not really fair because there is this bug again in DCS that it just, you know, the fixed foveated rendering is not working very well, so we have to wait for a patch. At the same time, I'm recording on the same computer as I play DCS, so that again roughly takes 15 FPS, if not more. But here I would roughly get between 50 to 65-70 FPS. That's just the FPS that it comes with out of the box. Without recording, without OBS. If I just booted up DCS, I would just get in a plane and fly roughly between 50 and, well, 65-70 FPS. Now overall, I am super happy with the Pimax Crystal Light. It's more comfortable than the Pimax Crystal itself. It's lighter, it fits better, I can play longer. Now it doesn't have eye tracking, which is of no problem if you have a very high-end computer, because you will hit that maximum FPS anyway. But for the lower-end computers, for example my 3080 Ti with an older CPU, or if you have a 3070, I need to benchmark it a bit more in detail to tell you whether I favor more the Pimax Crystal Light or the Pimax Crystal with eye tracking, which also gives a magical boost in FPS. More on that in another video. Thank you for watching this very first impression review. You will see the Pimax Crystal Light popping up in the next videos, so I can give you a more detailed benchmark of whether I think you should get this headset or not. Thank you for watching, and as always, I hope to see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.